We are Last Call Legend, your favorite cover band's favorite cover band.
We talk about mental health with people who work in the music industry.
Our goal is to help artists overcome the inner challenges of being a creator.
If you know someone who might enjoy these talks, we'd love if you shared our podcast with them. We got to get Tony on the pod.
Tony Tuna?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Tony Tuna.
Man.
Yeah, me and Tony have got some ideas in the works.
Oh.
What are your ideas with Tony Tuna?
We're trying to, kind of redo, what Untapped Talent was that he had and sort of revamp it, light the fire again. Mm-hmm. Do some stuff like that. I think I talked to you a little bit about it last week. But yeah, trying to get original artists.
Were they doing Untapped? They're doing Untapped at the Foundation Room?
I think that might have been a one-off, or I think that is how Tony got connected with Colin at the Foundation Room, and was like, that's how that show that I was doing came about. It was like a one-off, and I think, maybe Tony was like trying to do Tony's been just like looking for different venues.
Yeah, and he seemed pretty pumped because he was like, I want another person to help plan and do all that, and I was already in it, so.
Well, Tin Roof is good because some of the venues that he's had in the past, he has to bring sound gear.
Yes, yeah, and so we're trying to do, because he wants to do like a writer's round at Tin Roof, and so I think we're going to try to dive into more than just like a one-off writer's round and go into like actual shows and venues and stuff. But yeah.
Outside of Tin?
Outside of Tin Roof eventually, but at the beginning it's like Tin Roof is free and has everything, and I think is a good venue size for what it's going to start off at.
Bro, I think that's a great start. I think we should do an intro.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, people of the internet. The first guest, this is a legendary experience. The first guest on the Last Call Legend show is none other than Joshua Blakely, the head of sound at Tin Roof, where we have a regular gig. He's been nothing but excellent to work with.
Which, it's funny you say that because I'm never actually your sound guy. It's normally Steve, so...
Oh, hey, no. Sorry, guys. Let me take that back. No. But here's the deal. When we first started, you were doing sound a little bit more than Steve.
Yeah.
And, man, so the whole setup of the podcast is mental health, the music industry. And so frequently, as a performer who is an extremely, let's say, large personality, I have come across a lot of sound guys that really don't like me. And I don't know why, but...
Sound guys are inherently grumpy. I've found there are two types of sound guys. Yeah. They're either grumpy assholes that are really good at their job, or they're really nice and they're the worst sound guy you've ever had in your life.
Totally.
And I try to be both. I try.
You try to be the worst sound guy?
I try to be the worst sound guy.
With the worst attitude?
With the worst attitude. Yes, absolutely.
Dude. Well, dude, I mean, I do think it really comes down to mental health a lot. Like, the environment in which we work, there's always alcohol, and a lot of them drink a lot. And I think for a performer, not that it's not unhealthy for a performer, but a performer gets an outlet, they get attention, they get glory. And sound guys, people don't even know they're there. And then they deal with artists who have attitudes and egos.
Yeah, I've found myself that I know I'm doing a good job as a sound guy when no one knows I'm there. I kind of hate being at the center of attention.
That's kind of tough, though, because you have the voice of an angel.
Yeah, I have written music. I used to be a worship leader. I used to do all that stuff. And
Look up the Tiny Desk. What's the name of the song?
Replaceable is the name of the song.
Joshua Blakely, Replaceable, Tiny Desk Submission.
Yep.
Voice of an angel.
Yeah, did that during COVID. I wrote it during COVID. I recorded it 2022, something. But yeah, it was fun. And I like singing and I like playing guitar, but one, that's really stressful, as you guys know, to get up on a stage and to some extent make a fool of yourself and be entertaining. But I found I'm better at and more comfortable behind a soundboard. And if I can express my artistry from some faders and some knobs, then I'll do that instead. And
I love that you're thinking of it from an artist's perspective.
Yeah, it's an instrument.
Here's the thing that's crazy is one thing that sound guys love to say is they'll be like, I mix puddle of mud they were the worst band I've ever heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in the sound guy community, if there is one.
There's a dude, I'm so sorry, I don't know your app, brother, but he does these like sound guy things, and he'll be like, "No offense, brother, but your tone sounds like shit."
I've seen
And
that
he's
guy.
like, "You ever heard a puddle of blood?" Or like he'll do like a cover band of a band.
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
a stupid
Yep.
name. So
Yep.
funny.
It's like the Orange Hot Chili Peppers or some shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
that kind of cuts both ways though, because this is a story that I will not go into too much detail about, but I used to work with a guy, and there was a sound guy. It was his first day on the job, and like it took him an extra hour to set up, which is great because it was a 4-hour set that turned into a 3-hour set. But as soon as we started the show, he got on the mic and he was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, like our sound guy is a piece of shit." And that's how he started the show.
And the sound guy didn't cut the board, dude.
Right. You deal with that?
I don't, but I think a lot of not dealing with that also just comes from being a decent human being. Like if you just treat bands right, even if it takes you forever, like they're going to be fine with it. I've had a lot of late start with bands, and it's just like, if you're just like, "Hey man, sorry," or like, "We'll get going at this time." Because what I found when bands are starting late and that situation is happening, they get stressed out a lot because they're like, "Oh, the venue's going to be mad at us, whatever." But I just approach it as like, "Hey, this is just as much my fault as it is y'all's fault. I'll take the fall for it. They're not going to yell at me or fire me or not invite me back because we were 15 minutes late or 30 minutes late." It's like, "Hey guys, take 5, go to the bathroom." Like once it's all set up, like it could be 20 minutes after the start time. I'm like, "Hey, let's take 5, go get a drink, go to the bathroom, go do whatever you need to do. Then let's get started," and we're all comfortable. None of us are just getting up here angry and frustrated and stressed out. And it goes a long way with a lot of bands. And I did that. I worked in a church for 3 years and did that to an extent there. There, the schedule is a little bit more rock solid, but you also have so much more time. So it's like if somebody comes in late, it's like, "Let's get you fired up and let's get it going, but we got to figure it out now." And a lot of it is just attitude with like sound guys and bands in that relationship, because there are so many times that they do butt heads and they just want to battle each other, and like they're on completely separate teams, but it's like one can't exist without the other. So let's treat it that way. Let's be nice to each other. Let's have fun together. That's why I'm friends with you guys, because like it's so much easier to be friends with your bands and have a good time than it is to just be pissy when anything ever goes wrong.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I guess on that like token, I have always thought that your attitude was super great. Like you're super easy to work with, and so much of what we're trying to figure out at this moment is like, what is it that keeps people mentally stable in an industry that kind of contributes to mental instability? Like, what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself sane?
I do a lot. One thing that I do that I think a lot of people pick up on, but they don't understand the meaning of it, and I'm sure that y'all have picked up on, whether you understand why I do it or not. But when y'all get there at 8, 9 o'clock at night or whatever, I say good morning every time. And I say that to all the bartenders that come in. I say that just if I'm starting a shift or anyone is starting their shift, I always say good morning. And it started off as a joke for me, and then it kind of, I realized sort of a deeper thing on why I do it. It's like, this is the start of a whole new thing. Like whatever happened before that today, whatever's on your mind is like, we've got a job to do right now. We have like fun times to be had. And so let's just start here. It's a new day and let's do it. And that's why I just always say good morning now. It's like, if we're starting something new, it's the morning. Like whatever else happened today, doesn't matter. Like, let's make this day good. Right. Whether that day is 4 hours long or if it actually is morning. And it's like, great, awesome, cool. But it doesn't really matter. Just good morning. And it helps me at least reset myself to be like this is separated from everything else in my life to an extent. Like, you don't want to completely like box off sections of your life because that's not healthy either. But it is healthy to remember to have fun and remember that any time can be a good time if you let it. And if you're bringing in all your baggage from the road, then you're never going to have a good show. You're never going to have fun at work. You're never going to like really push past that barrier of
I wouldn't know
fun.
anything about that.
yeah.
I would not. I would never bring baggage.
Business and pleasure.
Yeah.
That was my band in
Come
college with Z's instead of S's.
There
Nice.
we go. That's actually hard
is great.
too. We were talking about that where like we're talking about like company culture, and I was like anytime we're not thinking about the business, we're kind of detracting or subtracting from the business. So, and it's really hard for, I think, especially for creatives, because like what they tell you to do is like, hey, go on stage, take the mask off, help other people take the mask off, and go hog wild.
Yep.
Like, but there's a level to that where like you're gonna end up in like a mental institution if you do that too often, or
They're gonna hit you with the booty juice.
yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they'll give you
I mean,
all the free
one-
drinks you could ask for.
One
you
thing
know?
we were talking about is like crashing out, and like
Yeah.
I was kind of, I mean, Indianapolis, I love Indy. They go crazy, but I had to go. They made me go crazy, and I was kind of like on some Kurt Cobain shit, and it was cool, and it worked in Indy when the room was like on fire and everyone was like partying super hard. And then I did it in Chicago on a Thursday, and the room was empty, and people were not happy with me.
Yeah.
But like we were talking about how Kurt Cobain, like he was just he had fucking killed himself because like all of his whole persona was like the shadow of his existence, and it tore him down.
Yeah. And I liked that, Evan, you used the term creative to like describe what musicians are, because I feel like that gets lost. And we sort of talked about this last week of music has become a commodity and people don't view it as much of like the artistry that it is anymore. And I think that plays a big role into artists' mental health, because they're like, I have to crank out this song. I have to just put out whatever. And they lose sight of like why they started making music. And they forget that it's like, I made music because one, it's cool, but also it like helps, at least it's helped me process my emotions. It's helped me like kind of find just a hobby, and hobbies are healthy, and also just find, I don't know, joy in mundane things. People write songs about the weirdest shit, and because it's fun and it helps you sort of reopen your eyes to there is cool and fun stuff all around us, and like let's appreciate it. And people see that in paintings and sculptures, but they don't necessarily appreciate it in music as much. And I feel like some of that is coming back. Like people are seeing like these big artists with lots of flair, and like Chappell Roan has a ton of flair, great artist, but also like her songs have meaning. Like they're written for a reason, and they're stories that she's telling. And I think that that's really healthy to have a person doing that on such a large scale and like addressing mental health. I mean, she said that she has taken breaks from music, and she doesn't want this paparazzi around her all the time, because she's not doing it for the fame. She's doing it because it's what she loves to do, and she's doing it because it helps her just be who she is and not who other people see her to be.
Totally.
Yeah.
Bro, I have never asked you, what do you listen to? Like, who are your favorite artists?
This was a question that I knew was going to come, and I didn't. I mean, it's a podcast about music, and so you're going to ask favorite artists. It's a really hard question for me, because I know everybody says, they're like, well, I listen to everything.
Yeah.
And I do listen to everything, but I hate that answer because it doesn't really say anything. But they're different, they're like my favorite artist that has like the most influence on me is very different than the artist, like my favorite artist for when I want to party. And like they're like these subsections. And so to actually answer your question kind of in a few different ways, the artists like that have had the most influence on me in my music journey have been like Mumford & Sons, Avett Brothers, that category. That's just what I grew up listening to. It's what made me want to initially get into music and learn to play guitar and banjo and whatever else I could pick up. But as far as like joy and listening and like that kind of stuff, I like unironically love pop music. It's fun, and it's pop music for a reason. Like it's a science to make a pop song. Like you have to have all the right beats and you have to have all the right synths or whatever you want to put in it. And I think that's when it turns into a commodity, is with pop music. And I love listening to pop music and seeing the artistry in it, which a lot of people are just like, this song's a banger. I'm like, but why is it a banger? They're like, I don't know, and I don't care to find out.
Yeah.
I love finding out why songs are bangers. And so...
Have you ever seen the Vokes Earworm? The Vokes like YouTube channel?
I don't think so.
They're just really good analysis of music, and they talk about pop music and repetition, and it's just cool analysis, but the visuals accompany it.
Yeah.
I'll send you something.
Yeah, send me something, and I'll put you onto something, another YouTube channel that breaks down music, and they break down a lot of like music careers. Like they go through all like of a discography of a band or an artist. It's called Mike the Snare.
Okay.
And it is a great YouTube channel for just like music culture is a lot of it, and kind of like how bands came to be and why they did. And I find it really fun. There's a great episode about that they are interviewing. His name is Josh Rogerson something. He was the NPR Tiny Desk sound guy.
Wow.
And so they have a whole thing with him and kind of talk about why Tiny Desk is and all that. And I find that really fun. So you should go check that out. Mike the Snare.
Mike the Snare.
Great YouTube
Check it
channel.
out. I feel like Song Exploder is a cool thing too. I feel like that's the thing. Like one thing you're talking about is it's weird how pop culture coalesces with politics. Because I posted a mix and it was like, I was famous. It was too crazy. I got like 40,000 views. But
This is a DJ.
on doing DJ stuff because I mashed up McGee.
Arrow Music.
Exactly.
Check it out.
I mashed up McGee with Sabrina Carpenter, and like everybody who's in the comments is like, Sabrina Carpenter is mids, because she's a pop star. But
Dude, know what's
I don't
crazy
think
about
people
her?
know how political.
Dude, I've heard some of her songs, but I've never seen her woodwork,
That's
Sabrina
what I'm
Carpenter,
saying.
come on.
Dude.
There's only one carpenter that I follow, and that's JC.
Thought you were gonna go Jesus. Is that what you
Jesus Christ,
JC? Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Have you
Jesus
seen
crazy.
that meme that's like they're like the people that only knew Jesus from his professional life, and they're like, guys, they just crucified the guy that built our house.
My cabinets.
Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying like Sabrina, they were saying she's mid.
Any pop star, and that's the thing is like culture. Like people are like, yo, I'm not like that. Like I don't watch the Grammys. I don't follow Billboard. And I feel like there's so much like pain behind that because to me, if you can't enjoy a thing as it's happening, then it's going to pass you by and then you're never going to get to enjoy it.
Totally.
Yeah. I think a lot about when people are like, oh, that artist is mid, or like, I could have wrote that. Like, I've heard it from every pop star in the last 5 years. I mean, heard about Sabrina. I've heard it about Chappell Roan. I've heard it about Noah Kahan. And I think some of that is coming from artists that are a little like, just, I don't know, they feel slighted by it because they're like, well, like, it's so basic, it's so easy, but it's like, if you could have wrote it, why didn't you? And is that because one, you didn't think of it, or two, you just didn't have the I don't know,
The balls to do it.
yeah, the balls to take the jump
ovaries to do it.
Yeah, you didn't want to take that leap because it is scary to take that leap to release something you wrote. And I also thought it's just like, there are a lot of artists that are making great music that have no recognition. And it's not because it's bad music. It's just because they haven't blown up in the traditional sense. It's like I was listening on the way over here, just like some random like Americana country bluegrass music. It's like, if I were to name any of these bands, people would be like, who the hell is that? It's like, I love it. It's for me. And that's the type of music that I really enjoy. But so many people are like, well, like, it's not pop music. It's like, yeah, it's not supposed to be pop music. It never was dreamed up to be this thing that sells out festivals. It was dreamed up because people like writing music and they wrote good music. And so I think there's a balance between people being like, oh, well, that artist is mid, and then like the superstardom that can come just because people don't recognize it as an art and they don't appreciate it as an art and they appreciate it as a commodity.
Yeah, like do you know Victor Wooten?
That sounds familiar.
He's a bass player. He has a bass nature camp outside of Nashville, and he's just a cool dude. And he's like a virtuosic bass player, like tapping, slapping, solo bass stuff.
Yeah.
And I was really obsessed with him when I was a kid, and I went to this bass nature camp. And one of the things he talked about is he was like, do you know who Kenny G is? The like smooth sax guy. He's like,
yeah.
In the jazz community, he gets very like ripped on. And Victor was like, why would you be upset? Everybody here is trying to be a professional musician, and this dude is making a living from music. Like, why can't you be happy for them?
Yeah, people just, I don't know, they get so pissy when people make things that are cool because they're like, well, that's not how it's supposed to be done. That's not what I had in mind. It's like, well, good thing that there are other people. Like,
Totally,
it cannot be for you and still be good. And people don't see that.
Tell that to the comment section, you know?
Yeah. Tell it to the TikTok live up there.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, can you stand, that's part of the question too. Can you stand the heat for like decades? You know? Like I saw something the other day. I got an email. We get like a weekly progress report for our post scheduler. And it was like, in the past 7 days, and this is interesting because it relates to commodification, but it was like, in the past 7 days, you've put up 36 posts. And I was like, oh my God, like, am I okay? Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'll get on something. It's funny because we were just talking last night. Is like, there's 2 pieces of content. They're on 2 different platforms. And Will was like, oh, somebody posted like a positive comment. And I was replying to the same video on a different platform. And somebody was like, do you guys seriously think this is good?
Yeah.
Like,
And somebody was like, this is great. It's so funny too. Like, I was like, bro, somebody finally likes our stuff. And like, we had just like, he went to the TikTok, I went to the Instagram, and I was just like, thank you. And he's just like, Evan's just getting like fucking all the heat.
Just fighting battles over there.
Yeah.
You're just chilling with butterflies and jumping around.
But dude, that's the thing. I feel like, one, I'm learning, like, the things that I make aren't for everyone, and when people don't like them, it's not an attack on me. It's just like that piece of art is not for them. And then also, like, I think I've had the habit of going like, this is good for me. Everyone that I know and love needs to do exactly this because they need this.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
It's not true, and that's really hard because you're so passionate about it. Like, I've had that with so many things. I'm like, this is, like, everybody needs to hear this. I'll go post it on my Instagram, whatever, and people are like, why'd you post that? I'm like, because you need to hear it. They're like, no, I don't. I'm like, all right, I need to, like, that's when I need to take a step back and be like, this isn't on them. Like, I'm getting mad because they don't agree with me, and I think it's their fault. When in reality, it's probably mine because, like, I needed this, and I think maybe some other people need it, but that doesn't mean everybody needs or cares or wants this.
Yeah, I don't know why that was a hard thing for me to like grasp. Like, one thing, like in my family, I'm the only male and everyone else is females, and like working out has always been really good for me mental, like health wise, and it's just not something that my siblings need. As like, I'm very high energy, so that energy needs to like be emitted physically, and then I can be calm. But that's not the, like, other people don't need that the same way I do, and I like couldn't see that because it was so good for me.
Yeah.
But like, Evan is much more like sedentary than I am, but like he's just chill. Like, he's just chiller than I am. Like, he doesn't need to move around so much. He doesn't need to get the sillies out.
Yeah. Yeah, I found this, like, even with my wife, we will, like, sit down. I love to play video games. Like,
What do you play?
Play so many things.
You play Baldur's Gate?
I haven't
Shout
played
out
Baldur's
to
Gate.
AJ.
I really would like to, but I haven't sucked it up and bought it yet because games are expensive, and
How much is Baldur's Gate?
I feel like it's probably like $70 with
I
the
feel
rest
like
of them
they're
right
all
now.
like around
Yeah,
there.
Dude, when I was a kid,
I know.
used to go to
But-
GameStop, trade something in.
We had a wild conversation about how like the whole like universe that they build is just a huge art project.
Yeah.
So like $70 is like really cheap.
it is when you think about it. And back to the point I was trying to make was just like, I play video games a lot. Me and my wife, she was like, you know what, let's try. So we have a Switch. We got It Takes Two.
Nice.
It is the most rage-inducing thing for her in the world. She hates it.
What is?
She doesn't hate it.
What's it say to?
It's like a co-op game on the Switch, and it is really fun. Like you'd go through a bunch of these like puzzles and challenges, and it takes two people to do them. So you like one person has one job and another person has another, and you have to do them together or you can't pass. And so for me, I find it really fun. We get to do something cooperative. And for her, she's just like screaming at the TV, and like she'll miss one jump like 3 times in a row. She's like, I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm like, no, this is like, that's the challenge. It's fun to be
Yeah.
challenged. She's like, I don't want to be challenged. I'm like, all right. And then she'll go read a book and be perfectly happy. And I try to read a book and I get 5 pages in and go, this is the most boring hour that I've had in my entire life.
Yeah.
Because that's how long it takes me to read 5 pages. It's about an hour.
I think that
Are
people
you dyslexic?
Not diagnosed, but it could happen. You never know.
I think
we're
that-
switching letters.
I think that like because I read kind of slowly, and I think dyslexia. I think they're like it's spectrum based probably. I don't feel like I get words mixed up or anything, but like I often just like am not reading things in order, and then I'm having to go back. It's not that I can't read it clearly and it's really confusing to me. It's that like maybe I'm reading too quickly and I'm not absorbing, so then I have to go back and I'm
Yeah.
doubling back.
I've found the only way that I can read, and I was trying to explain this to my wife, and she was just like, I don't understand that at all. Because she skims, she reads super fast. I mean, she just read like the latest Hunger Games book that came out. She read it in like a day and a half. That was like while we were doing stuff, just in her free time.
Yeah.
Like full, like 300-400 page book. She just was able to nail out. But I was trying to explain, I'm like, the only way I can comprehend what I'm reading is to read at the pace that I'm reading, like I would read out loud.
Yeah.
And that is like, I'm essentially reading out loud to myself in my head, not actually having to say it, but it's like, that's the speed I'm going. Like, that's what my process is. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. And I don't know if that's dyslexia or if that's just the extreme ADHD or what it is. But yeah, if I try to like just skim and read how normal people do, it's all a blur and none of it means anything. And I just have to start over and try again. Yeah.
I mean, with one thing, do you know who Naval Ravencreed is?
No.
He's like,
I don't know any of the people you're saying.
He's making names up.
He could be.
He's dyslexic.
they're just in my, yeah, I'm not saying the names right. They're probably different, but Naval is like known in I don't know really much about him. I just know this one thing he did called How to Get Rich, which was like, he did a bunch of tweets and then him and another guy like made a podcast or like audio of breaking down what he meant, and it was just like he does angel investing and does things in the tech space, and he's been like pretty successful. But he was talking about, and this really was eye-opening for me because this is kind of how I like to read now. I used to feel like I was reading to finish the book so I could like be like, yes, I know everything that's in there and we can talk about it. But he was like, I find it more valuable to like read a page, and that page makes me sit and think for an hour instead of continuing.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
So like I think that there's a lot of value in doing the thought work of reading something and thinking about it, as opposed to just like, what's the point of starting and finishing a book if it doesn't change you or make you think, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that is kind of how I read them. Just like, I want to read this to be like, look at this book I read, and not actually appreciate the book for what it is. And
I would say I haven't finished most of the books that I've started.
yeah.
But not in a bad way. Like, I think if the enjoyment's not there and if you're not engaged with the material, it's kind of doing a disservice to yourself to like skim through it just to get done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's interesting how it relates to the stage too. this might be a stretch, but I'm just saying, like,
I'll make the segue.
The alchemical work, you know, like you could play 1,000 shows, whether you're mixing, whether you're performing, whether you're like doing whatever, but like, are you honing in on your craft? You know, like how, like, that's the thing. There has to be a self-improving mechanism within you to be like, and you kind of got to balance it. Like, you have to be, I get done with the show and I'm just like, that's the worst thing that's ever happened. And I go on to the next show, you know, and it's just like slowly over time, like it gets a little bit better.
Yeah.
Well, like one thing that Evan, I think why I've loved working with Evan since day one is like when we came, Evan had more experience than me in like the live cover band scene and just like live band shows. Like I only played original band shows and I mean, I did other stuff in college, but I played like sheet music things and whatever. And so we would do these long sets, and Evan would like. Do you know Pat Metheny?
Man, no.
I'm all
just
over
assume at this point I don't know
guitar
anybody.
Player who's like known for being like a bad motherfucker on the guitar because he really is, and he is at like he has established himself as one of the greats, and he still like finishes a show and writes pages of notes of improvement.
Yeah,
and Ev would like give me these pages of notes that we could work on, and like it was extremely effective. And it's not something I would be like, man, that show sucked, I wish we could get better. And everyone would be like, here are the specific things we need to fix. And I'd be like, okay, bridge on this song, guitar solo on that song, and then we could improve faster.
Yeah. And I feel like whenever I was running sound for y'all pretty much every week, we ended up having those conversations, just like, what should I fix? What should this be? And that's what being a decent human being and a good sound guy does, is like, one, you want notes from me because I heard it from the audience perspective, but two, it's like, I want to give notes to you because I'm just as passionate as you are that I want this show to go well.
Yeah.
I want things to sound good. And I think feedback is very important for music. And I think it is hard to get out of that space of like, they're criticizing me because I'm bad instead of they're criticizing me because they want me to be better.
Totally.
And that's hard to remind yourself that it's like, it's not because they hate me. It's actually because they love me that they want these things to change and they want these things to be better because they know that I can. And so now I just got to do it.
And I feel like that's pretty abundant at the Tin Roof. I think that sometimes I was like, man, I'm getting criticized all the time, but it was never like, hey, you're an idiot. It was like, you should like do this or that because I think the audience would enjoy it more. And if you say you're here for the audience and for the people, you want those criticisms.
Yep.
How are we doing on time?
I don't know. I don't know when we started.
Are we trying to do a hard half-hour cut?
Yeah, I don't know where we're at with time, but
Does this thing tell us?
I think that if you press the power button, yeah,
Where's that?
right on the side.
That'll be a great shot for when that gets uploaded.
Exactly.
Just the fisheye.
I don't. Do I have to press it harder?
No, just don't. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I hope I didn't turn it off.
The red light's still going. Also, I feel like it's a miss if we don't recognize that we all have mustaches.
Come on. Hold on, everybody getting close. Yo, in the comments below, tell us which we all kind of have different styles. You guys are more similar.
We're pretty similar. Mine used to be a lot longer. Y'all have seen it a lot longer. But
I mean,
we
I
had to
was
trim
surprised
up.
that you didn't have the beard going.
Yeah, I was starting to get warm, so the beard had to come off.
You need the sleeker, more aerodynamic for summertime shot.
Yeah, and I did, because my mustache was so long when I trimmed my beard, and I did go get a new ID during that time that it was super long, so my ID picture is like mustache, like it looks like this just fades into my sideburns almost, which is so gross, and I love it so much.
You were rocking the curl.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
You're kind of a facial hair connoisseur.
It'll come back. The curl will come back.
He's got the waxes. Have you ever done the curl?
I did it once in college. I should grow it back, but
You should.
It's just like, I don't have the commitment for the whole thing. I just I hate the food gets stuck in your mouth.
It does. Yeah, you pretty much can't eat food without like 17 napkins.
Exactly.
Because that's what it takes to not
it's all
be gross afterward. Yeah.
It's a labor of love, and that's why I keep it high and tight. I got the sides, which makes it look like it's a little more than it is. But as soon as it gets to where it curls into my lip and starts touching it, it's annoying to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when I start brushing mine out, and
You
so
guys
then
have the length.
Well, yeah, you just gotta
I think you guys both
let
have
the length
bigger
grow.
upper lips than me though. You got more room. You
Yeah.
got more. Look at that.
room to grow.
You got like landing strip.
Yeah, yeah.
I just got this little tiny. I'll get there. I'm still growing.
Absolutely.
I think to bring it around though, because we're talking about self-correcting mechanisms and organizations.
The king of segues, Evan.
Yeah, just talking about organizations.
He's like Paul Blart with the
of
fucking
correction.
segue over here.
Exactly. But people being on your ass, honestly, and if you're having a bad day, it's not a good day to receive criticism. But my question is, what is the ultimate end? And this is classic Aeromac. Why do humans create art?
I'm up first as the guest.
You're the only one who's up.
All right. Oh, so it's just me. Okay, cool.
This is your message to the people of the universe.
Yeah. Why do humans create art? Because we need it. I think if you look around your life, whether you consider yourself someone that appreciates art or not, if you actually take 5 minutes to look around even the room you're sitting in, there will be some form of art, whether that's a picture on the wall, whether that's even look, I'm staring at this coffee table in front of us right now. It's that's not just a square. It is
Bro,
made to look good.
I'm looking at this mustache.
Yeah.
That's a work of art.
But I
three
think
works of art.
I think we need art to appreciate life and to understand life more. And it's inherently something that we enjoy, and it's hard to know why we enjoy it. When you hear a good song, when you see a cool painting, when you see someone dancing nice, it's you like it, and you're not thinking about in the moment I like this because of X, Y, and Z. You're not making a formula on why is this good. You're just being that's good. And I think it's just inherently something as humans that we need and we enjoy, is just to have art and to be around creative cultures, because it makes us look at life in a different sense, and it makes us think about why we exist, instead of just we're here to make money and eat food and go to sleep. Because without art, then what is the point of much stuff? It's it doesn't, your job in the tech space does not matter unless someone made something cool in tech, and that's still art.
Right.
Bankers exist. It's you'd be well, how's there art in banking? It's I'm sure there is. I'm not a finance bro. I don't know. But it's why is there a bank? Because people are making money and they want to go spend this money on whatever. It's well, what are they spending money on?
Art.
And even if it's just the simplest, I'm making money so I can buy food. Do you appreciate good food? Do you like food that tastes good? That's still art. And I think, that's why we need it. Or that's why we make it, is because we need it.
I couldn't have said it.
100. We love it.
All right, boys.
I just won podcasting.
Wow. Let's just say to winning podcasting on 3.
1, 2, 3.
To winning podcasting.